You don't lack motivation. You lack structure. You don't lack motivation. You lack structure. And the faster you understand that, the faster your life changes. Because motivation feels powerful. It feels like progress. It feels like control. But it's a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. Think about how many times you've said, "This time I'm serious." You meant it. You felt different. You had clarity. You had urgency. You had that internal shift where everything felt possible. And for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, you moved differently. You woke up earlier. You focused harder. You trained with intensity. You worked with discipline. You were sharper, more decisive, more committed. And then life applied pressure, a bad night of sleep, a stressful conversation, a small setback, one missed day, and the momentum cracked. Not because you're incapable, not because you're lazy, because you built your progress on emotion. And emotion fluctuates. Motivation is a spark. Structure is a power grid. One burns bright and dies quickly. The other sustains energy indefinitely. But most people chase sparks. They chase the rush, the inspiration, the high, because it feels productive. It feels like change. But sparks don't build empires. Grids do, and grids are boring. They're mechanical, predictable, unemotional. That's why average people resist them. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't struggle with discipline, you struggle with decision fatigue. You wake up and decide what time to get up. You decide whether to work out. You decide what to eat. You decide whether to focus. You decide whether to scroll. By 10 a.m., you've already drained your mental energy debating yourself. High performers eliminate those debates. Same wake time, same work window, same training slot, same planning ritual. They don't wake up asking what they feel like doing. They wake up inside a blueprint, and the blueprint decides. This is why some people look unstoppable. It's not personality. It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's environment design. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. If your environment makes distraction easy, you will be distracted. If your environment makes junk food convenient, you will eat junk food. If your environment makes procrastination frictionless, you will procrastinate. Structure is friction management. It removes friction from productive behavior and increases friction around destructive behavior. That's it. That's the secret most people overlook. Look at your phone. Is it within reach right now? That's structure. Is your gym bag packed? That's structure. Are your work tasks defined before the day starts? That's structure. Do you have fixed blocks where notifications are off? That's structure. People who succeed don't have more motivation. They have fewer decisions. They don't negotiate with themselves. Negotiation kills momentum. Every internal argument weakens execution. Maybe later. Just today. I deserve a break. That's negotiation. And negotiation is expensive. Structure eliminates negotiation. When it's time, it's time. No debate. Most people operate in cycles. They reset. They push hard. They burn out. They disappear. Then they restart. It feels productive. It feels intense. But it produces nothing sustainable because it's built on emotion. Structure lowers intensity, but increases consistency, and consistency compounds. Compounding is invisible at first, then unstoppable later. You want money? Structure your skill development. You want to grow your business? Structure your lead generation. You want to get in shape? Structure your meals and training windows. You want focus? Structure your distractions out of existence. Random effort creates random results. Structured effort creates predictable growth. And predictable growth builds confidence, not emotional hype, real confidence. Here's something most people misunderstand. Freedom without discipline creates chaos. Unstructured freedom creates drift. Drift creates stagnation, and stagnation becomes identity. You think you're choosing comfort, but you're slowly choosing average. Structure feels restrictive in the short term, but it creates expansion in the long term. Because when the system runs, you don't rely on mood. You don't rely on the willpower. You don't rely on inspiration. You rely on process. And process is stable. The world doesn't reward bursts. It rewards reliability. The person who shows up daily, the person who executes consistently, the person who can be counted on. Structure builds that identity, not motivation. Motivation is temporary. Structure is architectural. It's design, and design scales. You don't need a personality change. You need a schedule change. You don't need more ambition. You need tighter constraints, fixed wake time, fixed work blocks, defined priorities, limited digital noise, planned recovery, simple, unexciting, powerful. Here's where separation happens. Most people want to feel powerful while building power, but real progress feels neutral, sometimes even boring. It's not cinematic. It's repetitive, predictable, controlled. But over months, it compounds. And suddenly people think you're disciplined. They think you're intense. They think you're built different. You're not. You're structured. When structure is strong, you don't ask, do I feel like it? You ask, what's next? You don't restart every Monday. You continue every Tuesday. You don't rely on energy spikes. You build energy stability. You don't chase momentum. You design it. And here's the final shift. The goal isn't to become hyper-motivated. The goal is to eliminate the need for motivation entirely, because when your system is strong, you execute whether you're tired. You execute whether you're stressed. You execute whether you're bored, and that's power. Not emotional intensity, mechanical reliability. You don't lack motivation, you lack structure. And once you build it, you stop depending on emotion. You stop restarting. You stop drifting. You start compounding. And compounding changes everything. Not overnight, but inevitably. Structure isn't glamorous. It's not viral. It's not dramatic. But it wins every single time.